Troy, are they there?
Don't be scared. I just want to play a game with you.
The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. The house is haunted by memories that refuse to die. I can't get away from a vision that brings intimate glimpses of intimate things. A voice in my heart like a tart singer sings. I wonder who's kissing her now. The house is haunted by the echo of your favorite song. The place is cluttered up with roses that have lived too long, much too long. The ceiling is white, but the shadows are black. A ghost in my heart says she'll never come back. The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye. The house is haunted by the echo of your last goodbye.
Sometimes I pee my pants on roller coasters.
The house is haunted by memories that refuse to die. I can't get away from a vision that brings intimate glimpses of intimate things. A voice in my heart like a tart singer sings. I wonder who's kissing her now. The house is haunted by the echo of your favorite song. The place is cluttered up with roses that have lived too long, much too long.
Good evening and welcome to The Haunt Hour with your host Dan Doble, Susie Fleesick, and Troy Crivello. Join us tonight as we talk about all things haunting and Halloween during The Haunt Hour.
You know, I think we should just keep playing that music all the way through, and not stop it, and we'll just see what people do. I mean,
just keep playing the same.
We just sit here and drive. And the other thing I love is the fact that we unmute ourselves in 5 minutes and we talk to each other. I don't know how many people recognize that or not. But it's,
they have to decide. I mean, and I don't know how many people notice the little voices I've already put in that track.
Yeah.
It depends on when they come in.
I don't do it. I follow rules. I follow rules.
Yeah,
You say to mute, I mute.
We have rules.
Susie, I flip the table and throw my phone, flea stick everybody.
I don't know what.
I follow rules.
So everybody, we would like to introduce Susie's husband, Troy.
Here he is. Now you have a face. You have a face to go with the name.
Otherwise,
he's a way better looking Troy than I am. So.
Oh, wow. That's sad.
Yeah.
Sad. Well, you know, Troy is a sad individual.
I'm an honest individual. That's what I am.
Anyway, welcome to another Haunt Hour. My name is Dan. Welcoming Susie and Troy, everybody. We are here. Oh my God, I'm so excited for what we've got going on tonight. But let's not get into that yet. Let's talk about some fun stuff that's going on right now in the industry. Troy, I'm gonna start.
Let's go Susie first.
Okay,
we'll go first tonight. Because they're always like, yeah. Hurry up and get your shit out of the way so we can get to the important stuff.
Who's sitting next to you right now?
Whatever.
Yeah, Susie, who's that?
Whatever. I'll just go and lie in a corner with my lover. And
whoa, this guy.
It's a woman, actually. So, this is a zombie attack puppet. I'm sure you guys have seen it at Transworld for years. Ours came today. She just arrived today. She still has her hairnet on, and I'm not taking it off until we get her down to the haunt because her hair it will be a mess if so. But if you've never seen one before, my suggestion is to get on YouTube and look it up. It's VFX Creates, I think, and you put your hand up through her. There's like an opening. Anyway, it essentially looks like she's on your hip and she's like attacking you, and you move her so that she can attack you. It's a really great prop to have for like a Q actor, which is what we're going to use it for. And we've had our eye on these for a couple years, and this year we just decided to get one. And this one's called Sally, I believe her name is. And
that was the original one, but they've updated it and stuff like that because my wife got attacked by one of those at West Coast one year when they first came out with
I love it.
I think
it comes with a jacket for the actor to wear with a fake hand, so it really looks legit.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. So it looks like you're like this because it's the fake hand, and then she's like attacking you, and it has a speaker, and it makes different sounds, which we did not hook up yet. So she's just gonna sit here and hang loose with me for a little while.
Yeah.
All right.
So
put your hand up her butt.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, it is kind of like that. You put your hand like right. Yeah, like you put it way in. You like. I mean, you put your whole fist. Actually,
you don't even buy her dinner first. That's so rude.
No, she has something to eat. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, she's gonna eat something.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's basically it. But yeah. So
tonight's show brought to you by puppet fisting. Got it. Okay.
I mean, there's gotta be people into all of that. Shit,
I'm sure there's an only.
Somebody's getting excited right now. Yay! So yeah, that's my news. But go on. I know you guys have better news. I mean, you're just chomping at the bit. You're like wiping your mouth and like, let's get to the
his mouth because you're talking about fisting.
I don't know how you guys found out about my OnlyFans page. I don't understand how this show is way too private.
Now we know what you really do for a living. It's
I have a
all
lot of
clear
OnlyFans
now.
pages.
Wow.
I have one for each toe. It's great. It's fantastic.
Anyway, my news is not as good as Susie's. I really we've been this last week. We refinanced our house, so we're demoing a lot of stuff, and I don't know how we pulled straw out of the hat or the number out of the hat, but we're doing the studio first, which is above my garage. It's basically a big game room where I keep all my Halloween stuff. I'm down here because it's in, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. It's under construction.
Yeah.
It's a hot mess up there. It's where I used to do all my stuff, but everything is awry. And now we pulled all the carpet out and all the underlayment out. So now we're re-putting all that stuff down. And so it's a hot mess up there, but it's now in full force. So anybody that's out there, watch my personal Instagram or my TikTok, and I'm doing a bunch of videos. I'm actually doing shorts on YouTube too under my personal page on the build out of the studio, if you will. So if anybody's interested in that.
So yeah, when you go to Google, just type in my personal YouTube, Facebook, Instagram page, and his stuff will come up automatically.
Right up. Is it first on the list?
It's right there.
Dan Doble, Haunt Guy, you'll find it.
Haunt Guy Dan Doble. Got it.
Yeah, I bet it'll show up. I bet it will.
Is that also your OnlyFans page?
Yeah, it is my OnlyFans page. What is it with OnlyFans today?
I don't know.
You would know. You would know, Troy.
That's how I live the good life, people. That's how I live the good life.
All right, so I don't.
That's why I got the RV. You know.
RV. Anyway,
your OF money.
Off the rails is what we're
off
talking
the rails.
Wait, we got lots of rails. Off the rails.
We got lots of rails to be on this.
We got a lot. Oh, and I can't wait to talk about all the rails. Anyway,
another guy that has an OnlyFans page, but it's specifically for gingers and for awesome because this guy is awesome. I've been paid to say that, so literally been paid to say that. Maximus Christian Bryant is here. And
hello.
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
This is Max, and he is awesome, by the way. Because he is
find me at onlyfans.com/Ginger Maximus is awesome.
Ginger Maximus is awesome. It is the longest OnlyFans page name ever. There. It's easy to type in, you'll get it. He just as a side note, he is our main sponsor for the Halloween Home Haunter Awards that we've been putting on. He will be a sponsor for next year as well. He's a 2-year deal, so he's stuck with us. And just wait till you see the video for next year.
Well, it's not just me; it's the fact that I am awesome.
Yeah.
That's
it was a joke at first. It was a joke at first, and then he physically sent me the money. And then it wasn't a joke anymore. We had to make a graphic and we had to continue to say it. And I'm in therapy. But other than that, Max, you went to an event this weekend, didn't you?
Yes, I went to the event.
The event.
It was called The Event, put on by Haunters Against Hate, and it was the event held in Louisville, Kentucky. This was the first year that they put this event on, so I wanted to give congratulations to Paul Lanner and his organization for putting on their first event. I had a great time.
So tell us a little bit about the event. I mean, I feel so bad because I'm a huge fan of Haunters Against Hate, and I'll be honest, I didn't know about this event until like literally everybody started talking about it on social media, and then it popped up. I'm like, oh my gosh, why are we not at the show? So tell us a little bit about the event. Like what was it like? Was it something that was it a big party? Was it I saw maybe a trade show, like a little bit of a pop-up event. I mean, talk to us about it.
Yeah, so I mean, this event has been in the works for a while. I know Paul was at Transworld promoting the event, and he's kind of been hinting at it for a while. So Haunters Against Hate has been around for about, I think, nearly 5 years at this point, if not more. So you go in, they had it at a hotel. They rented out the whole ballroom area. There were, I would say, a good number of vendors there, vendors that were selling masks, vendors that were selling makeup. Several haunted houses also set up booths there to showcase themselves. And they weren't just from the Louisville area. There was a haunt from the northeast corner of Pennsylvania that even came through to talk about themselves, and somebody from the very far end of Illinois. So there was a lot of haunts there as well. And so there was that going on. There was also shows going on stage. I brought the schedule of the events, and a couple of the things that they had was an afternoon with Edgar Allan Poe. They had this actor who looked just like Edgar Allan Poe. He was on stage, reading poems and giving the story. There was a drag show. There were a legit drag show was going on as well, and these performers were there. They were
singing with their songs and interacting with the crowd. The crowd loved it. I think a lot of vendors even stopped doing what they were doing to go watch the drag show because the stage wasn't too far from the show floor.
Nice.
There was a great vibe going on there, and I felt extremely welcomed being there. It was a lot of fun. 2 haunted houses, Malice Manor, also opened up. You actually got to see the show. And American Horrorplex, both of them located in Louisville or near it, like Clarksville, Indiana, which is just over the river. And so, you had haunted houses that were opening. You had vendors, all haunt related. Well, not all. There were several vendors there that were also in line with the LGBT cause. There was Free Mom Hugs. There was another organization that was promoting support for the LGBT community. There was also another vendor that was talking about suicide prevention. So, it was a tremendous mix of haunter and standing up for the LGBT community, standing up against hate. And I had a lot of fun. I mean, it took me a long time to get through the show floor because every vendor was great at interacting and talking with them. It was a lot of fun.
Maximus, do you think it's something that this event is going to be something that's going to be a yearly thing or an annual thing where it's going to be held in the same location every year and we're going to be able to grow it from that location? Is that something that Paul has talked about?
So when I talked to Paul, now I have to regret that I only went on Friday. I wasn't able to go the whole weekend. I had other commitments. So on Friday I went, and I was only there when I talked to Paul. The show had only been going on for a couple hours, but Paul had this amazing calmness about him. Like the show was happening. He was looking around. People were already having a good time. And people were going to booths, buying up Haunters Against Hate shirts. He was already selling out of the Book of Haunters. He was selling out of those already. I think he had a good time, and I had a good time. And I haven't done a postmortem or an after the fact talk with him yet, but I would be very shocked if this event didn't repeat itself based on the number of haunts that stood behind him and his effort, the haunts that opened, the amount of vendors that were there. And even the amount of support that I've been seeing on Facebook about the event. I mean, this is just my opinion. I'm going to guess that there's going to be another one.
Yeah,
I certainly hope so. I mean, as Haunt Collective is a big proponent in Haunters Against Hate. And do you have any information for anybody? Because we jumped into it because we were all excited about it. What is Haunters Against Hate? Do you have a little synopsis about what it is for those that don't know about Haunters Against Hate? Could you elaborate on that a little bit so that people
Haunters Against Hate, I believe, got started like I said, about 4 to 5 years ago. If it's 6, I'm sorry, Paul. But in the haunt community, there were some instances where a lot of derogatory things were being said aimed at the LGBT community. And I think the organization began to stand up against this because, as far as I know, and anytime I've worked at a haunted house, it's always been a welcoming place. So Haunters Against Hate stood up and said, no, we're not, this isn't going to be a thing anymore. We're going to go against this. So since then, they've been doing fundraisers. They do the Book of Haunters. Even this event, the proceeds, all these proceeds that are coming through the shirt sales, the Book of Haunters and everything goes towards LGBTQIA plus organizations and supports their causes. There's a lot of charities throughout the entire country. And the event, I'm so sorry that I don't remember the exact name of the organization, but it's located out in Portland, Oregon. So, over in Troy's area.
What?
So, yeah. So Paul is always looking for different charities and organizations to benefit.
I just went on the website. It's all over the place. Oregon, Indiana, Kentucky, Missouri, Illinois, Tennessee, Minneapolis, California, Pennsylvania. There's a whole bunch of stuff that supports the LGBT.
Now, I can't speak for the organization in full because I'm not fully informed about everything they do. But Paul Lanner is easily accessible, and he's willing to talk about Haunters Against Hate all the time. So I encourage you, if you have questions, reach out to Paul and even if you want to get involved with him, I'm sure he would appreciate anybody's willingness to put forth their effort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring you on because I knew that you had that you actually went to the show, and I wanted to get an attendee's viewpoint of it. We have some open slots in the next couple of months that we could probably
I'd love to
get him in here to talk about it. And definitely. And I mean, from what I saw on, beforehand, there was a lot of positive stuff about, people were excited to go. And I saw my fair share of pictures throughout the weekend. I saw plenty of stuff you were posting and some of my other friends that were there. And, so I think this is definitely, haunters and, I mean, all haunters are misfits. We're all, we were all the outcasts. We're all the ones who, were looked weird at throughout our childhood and stuff like that. And now adulthood. And so to me, I don't see a difference between these people and myself and other haunters. I think we're all one, but it's a good thing to have an event that focuses on that as well. Because like you said, we have had some instances, we've had some suicides, we've had instances of actual hate. And we just, we're making tombstones and skeletons and making little kids pee their pants. I don't see in that sentence hate other people and don't like people because they're gay or, and we certainly don't need suicide. So, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this organization, and I definitely need it to grow. And I don't see a ceiling for this organization at all.
Absolutely. But I, as an attendee, had a lot of fun. I felt welcomed, and I could have spent the rest of the weekend there. I actually regretted only going one day.
Everybody does. Everybody says, I only went Saturday, or I only went Friday. I should have went the whole weekend. I have done that myself. I never leave Sunday night now. I never leave Sunday night because there's always something cool going on because the convention's over and everybody's on the relax, and there's always fun stuff that happens on Sunday night. So never leave on a Sunday night.
Never leave. All right. Well, on that note, Maximus, Thank you. We have to leave you.
Thank you. Have fun.
Ready?
Yes. Thank you.
All right, Troy. Bring in the bus.
Here we go.
I'm gonna cry.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
So we have with us Cliff and Eric and Jay. They're all there. There they are.
Hello.
There they are. Yep. And so I guess we will start off with you guys telling us about yourselves.
First, I want to say
video while we're doing it.
First I want to say Haunters Against Hate sounds like it's just cooler than the other side of the pillow. I didn't know that existed, and I'm blown away. I want to know more about it.
Absolutely.
So thank you to Maximus for sharing. That was it's maybe cheesy, but got a little emotional listening to it, and I just that's insanely cool. So thank you.
Paul is fantastic. He is
one of the coolest dudes.
He's definitely the guy to head this thing up. I mean, he's really on it, and there's a ton of haunts that are involved with it and everything. So
find him on Facebook and send him a private message and tell him what you just told us. I'm sure he'd really appreciate it.
Yeah.
He
was kind of Paul Lanner.
Lanner. Wow, there's an echo in here.
He was actually freaking out about a week before the show. I saw a post that he put up, and he was like, I don't know if this show's going to do good. I see what, and it was while I was at Texas. So I kind of feel like it was not my fault, but at the same time, he was seeing how much fun people were having in Texas Haunters. And he was like, I don't know if people are going to have fun at the show. I don't know if it's going to go off well. And just that post alone was just a huge show of support, for him and for the event. The event hadn't happened yet. So let it happen and let people have fun and experience it. And then you can be like, well, we can fix this or we can add this, but, but Paul's a hard on his sleeve type of guy too. But he made a great event. So we will not be seeing the last of it.
Well, so, you see, I called myself Derailed at Windy Acres. We've had a haunt since 2000 something. And about 3 years ago, I was having a conversation with a friend who was a huge supporter of mine and would contribute video effects. And he passed away 2 years ago. In the last conversation I had with him, I said, I'm thinking about making a dark ride. And he said, oh my God, you have to please make this dark ride. And that was the last conversation. So I had to make a dark ride.
Yes, you did.
So
I just can't get over this.
This is
well, thank you.
Freaking cool.
Before you even start, I just want to add to this. I just want to tell you this. I must have watched this video, I don't know, like 10 times in a row at least. I spent like an hour and a half going through this.
Wow.
Video. Yes.
Thank you.
Your numbers probably spiked. Like
I was just gonna say, he was probably wondering who was
fangirling.
Who's fangirling on my YouTube? Which is Dan Noble. That's
I am enamored with the fact that how you pulled this off, and I have to know like the technical side of this. So go on, and then I'm going to ask a million questions afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I was going to also introduce Cliff and Jay. They have been with me through the years. Cliff is
this will be my 10th year.
10th year. So he has jumped in with construction every year, even in the most humid of weekends. Only now did I think about putting air conditioning in the haunt. So, and Jay, I think he's above me right now. Has been doing audio. Started out doing ambient audio, and then he did a 15-minute long soundtrack for the spacewalk, my tunnel, which was all based on how the tunnel made him feel the first time he got to experience it. And he has since helped me write routines for Phil and Edith, my puppets, and he is the exclusive voice of Phil, and in one case Edith, but his best friend does Edith for me. So yeah, the haunt or the dark ride, I used the garage throughout the year, and I couldn't.
Is this a residential garage?
Yeah, it's a 2-car garage. I know it does look like there's a lot more in it than just a 2-car garage. When we take the walls down at the end of the season, we're like, oh my God, it's so small in here now.
Every year it's amazing. I'm like, how do you get all of this into this little space?
Yeah.
Even my builder, when he comes through, he's like, I don't know how you extend the garage each year.
Wow.
But, and where do you guys live?
This is in Grandy, North Carolina.
Okay.
Gosh, it's really a nowhere town.
Yeah, it's on the way towards the Outer Banks.
How far out is Charlotte? For those, or anywhere in the
5.5 hours.
5.5 hours.
Oh wow.
North, south, west.
This is about 12 minutes from Nag's Head.
Yeah.
From the Nag's Head area.
Yeah, Nag's Head, Kitty Hawk, Outer Banks.
Kitty Hawk. It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I go to the end of my street, I could look across the sound and see duck. If that helps.
Okay.
It doesn't help me.
Not ducks. Duck is a town. So for the dark ride, because it's my garage, I couldn't commit to a track. Also, I changed my mind every 10 minutes, so I couldn't commit to building a modular track that had to be the same way every year. You probably can't see it, but right now the cart was just passing over where there was multiple tracks. So I built a cart that drives itself by following a reflective line. And I just changed the reflective line on the floor each year to change the path right there. You can see a couple lines there. Yeah. The one it's not on was the previous year when it ran the other direction.
Okay, so I'm going to stop you right there. The cart that you're sitting on drives itself by watching a reflective line, like a Tesla? Something similar to that?
Much lower tech. But yes.
How the hell did you figure that out? Like, what the fuck? Like, that's mind-blowing.
All right, nerd warning here. In 7th grade, I saw a robot that followed a black line on a piece of paper, and I became obsessed with that technology. And really, I just scaled that up. There's 3 optical sensors that look down, one on the left and right of the line. As long as they don't see anything, it does nothing to the steering. If the right one sees the line, it turns the steering to the right, and just until it doesn't see it anymore. And the same for the left. The one in the middle is kind of a safety thing. So if it ever glitches and goes off of the line, if that middle one no longer sees the line, it kills power to the drive motor. And I've since exploited that and used that as stop bars for loading and unloading. Oh, Fingers by Gary Fay, by the way.
Yeah.
They're pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
So
the way you just described it sounds so simple. I'm going to go make one myself.
Right.
I received the biggest flattery I've ever received in my life. A guy out of Salt Lake sent me a video of his cart, and another guy I've been helping with through Facebook. I just received video of his working cart, all based on my videos. I think that is a pretty kick-ass compliment.
Hell yeah.
That they wanted to build it and then was able to build it based on my videos.
So, just out of curiosity, so you created this. How long did it take you to perfect it so it works? And then, does it work 100% of the time, or are you finding that once in a while you'll find it in the wall?
I've never seen it go off track.
It's never gone off track. It has mistaken itself, thinking it's gone off track. Our biggest problem are people discarding candy wrappers. If the candy wrapper gets under that optical sensor and it no longer sees the track, it thinks it's off track and it'll stop. So we've had to go and clear that out. So I'm trying to think of something to sweep in front
like a cattle
of the sensor. Yeah. I think our most comedic blunder was a mistiming of carts, and we had a near collision. If you look at the video where it starts outside.
Wait, so there's more than one cart?
Yeah. How many carts do you have?
Oh, I've got 2 carts.
Oh, why not? I mean,
yeah, sure. Yeah. So you see how there's a door on the right, and the line that it's centered on curves to the left.
Yes.
We were trying to time it so this cart would just go in just before the other cart comes out, and somebody had mistimed, and another cart came out right now.
They were like head on each other.
Almost.
Oh.
But all the actors carry remotes with them, and the emergency stop by remote. And I did that less for the carts potentially hitting each other and more to stop the cart if people are reaching out to touch props or whatever. Because as you can see, I don't have much room.
Mm-hmm.
So
those candles float. They move up and down.
I was just seeing that.
Yeah.
That was actually Jay's doing. Well, he made me do it.
It was my concept. We were making this hallway with these candles, and I'm thinking like Harry Potter, and I'm thinking we just gotta have some more mysticism here. And so we created this ridiculous pulley system that controls all these candles kind of going like this. And
I'm sure you guys have heard of a flying crank ghost.
Yep.
That was the very first prop I ever built, was a flying crank ghost. So when he said, "Oh man, it'd be cool if you could get these candles to move up and down," and I said, "I'll be back." And I went and I grabbed I took apart a flying crank ghost and used its mechanism, and then just crisscrossed the lines everywhere.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact, I mean, this, like Dan said, this video you could watch for like an hour because of the fact that you used the 360 camera, and then I don't think I've ever seen a haunt, pro or home, use a 360 camera to show you the haunt. I mean, the fact that I was able to look at your mechanisms up there, that's kind of cool as well. For somebody like me, I'm like, how did they do the candles?
You sound like me.
Yeah. And with this, now I get to look up.
Oh, cool.
So I'm going back to the cart because it's just mind blowing. So it took you how long did it take you to make this concept go from paper to actual concept to actual working cart before you were able to run it like in October?
First off, what's paper? I just jumped right in.
I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying.
No.
Haunters don't use paper. I mean,
right.
I was just gonna say,
if you're using paper, you're doing it wrong.
Chalk on the floor. That's what we do.
Right.
You know, I'm gonna have to ask. I know Troy's got YouTube up.
I do.
It would be by whatever the posted date of Dark Ride Cart test number 1.
Okay.
And I'm literally just on a welded frame. I didn't even have the motor yet. I just had a frame and was using a pair of vice grips on some casters to see how much force did it take to steer a cart while it's moving around. Surprisingly little, which was very encouraging. But then I spent, probably a month and a half trying to copy automotive steering. I think it's called Ackerman steering. I couldn't get the angles right for the tight turns that I needed. So I decided to take the steering there. Yeah. Okay. So
Troy, go back to that and pause.
At this point, we have the batteries. Yeah.
Oh, see, I'm having. My kids are on the internet.
Yeah.
Somebody's streaming. Shut them off.
So when is that?
Somebody's OnlyFans is running. Turn your OnlyFans off, everybody. No, none of that.
Wait, that's me. Hold on. That's not awesome. Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. So I don't know if you could tell in the front, that's a mobility scooter platform.
Yep.
And you could see I have front casters on the corners.
Yep.
Eventually abandoned those in favor of just a pair of wheels that turn in the center.
Yep.
That was April in 2018. So we started it, I guess, in March. There's the vice grips. Yeah. Which, in retrospect, I could have just steered one of the corner wheels and it would have been fine. Hindsight is 2020. But gosh, so many upgrades. The first year, something I learned is my garage is not fully level. There's one spot where, because the cart and wheels were rigid, one wheel would not touch the ground, so we had to quickly build that up with tape just on one turn. And so after Halloween, deconstructed the cart, made a sub chassis so that the drive wheels could float, and then use gas shocks to push them down. So that meant we can now go up and down a ramp, which is why we moved loading to outside. So,
but wait, there's more.
Yes.
If I can add to that, one of the coolest things that we ran into, I'd say more Eric, I happened to be there, but in that first trial of that first Halloween, we noticed that you had a weight differential of how much a couple of kids or an adult or whatever that were causing problems in terms of having a consistent speed throughout the thing. And I'll be damned if Eric didn't figure out a way for that system to recognize the weight and keep a consistent speed for the next year. It blew my mind.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, that actually, what he mentioned, also allowed us to go up and down a ramp without it bogging down, getting up into the garage, or speeding up coming down the ramp. So I pulled the back end of the motor off and put a rotary encoder that measures the speed, and then there's a circuit that measures the output speed versus the target speed, and then adjusts the current to keep it at the target speed.
Wow.
So your first year was 2000. You ran it that October 2018.
Yeah,
That's
in just one cart, and we had a line an hour and a half long.
So just on Halloween, or do you guys run it like a certain weekend, or
just Halloween night?
Yeah, for 3 hours on Halloween night. That's it.
Yep. I bet we probably pulled in around 200, 250 people.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, this is a nowhere town. We have one stoplight. Yee. And the Hardys. So,
but he's made a name for himself. I mean, they come over on hay rides. Yeah. They travel from 45 minutes north. They travel over from the Outer Banks. Everybody's heard about it.
He's notorious.
Exactly. How many people show up on those nights?
We've counted over 300. Which, considering I only do it one night, I don't advertise. It's just my first night, my very, very, very first night in this neighborhood was less than 30 people. So I think over 300 now is pretty awesome.
Oh, yeah.
So,
how many people fit in a car?
4 children can fit pretty comfortably. We've had 2 adults and 2 kids go through it. It was stressing it, though. I mean, that was
it's more weight loaded.
We recommend 500 pounds or less, but we know it could handle more.
Yeah. So I own a pro haunt, and we dabbled in these guys know we dabbled in the possibility of we have 3-story haunt, and in the basement of our haunt we have an old school. We dabbled in the possibility of doing a dark ride a couple years ago, and we actually built the beginnings. It was just like a round in a circle track with don't ask me because I'm not the one that does it, so don't ask me how it was built, but we tried it. The thing that stopped us is we're in Pennsylvania, and my husband is a certified haunt inspector. I don't know the exact name, so he decided to go and get certified for whatever we needed moving forward with this, like if we were going to go ahead and make this a pro dark ride. And there was just so many specifications that it would have been too much for us to be able to do. Like, we would have had to have hired an engineer to come in and like oversee the build and take the plans and what plans, right? And go, it's like, it was just too much for us. It was, we scrapped it. We got to like phase 1, and then we were like, okay, this isn't going to work but it was fun. And we did have a track, and we had a little car, no seats. It was a platform for about a month, and we played around with that. But that's definitely something I would still love to do one of these days, maybe. But man, there's no haunts around here have anything like that. And I'm old enough to remember, some of the best dark rides at local carnivals and amusement parks and things. And I think it's definitely something that younger generations sometimes doesn't get.
Yeah.
They don't understand it, but man, it's amazing.
My builder, who obviously he builds houses and works with the fire inspection and stuff. I've asked him about things like that, and he's like, well, so I suspect he looks the other way and probably knows the right people. I don't know if something I don't qualify for something because it's a free thing. I don't charge
exactly
people.
Right.
Also, the cart goes walking speed, and occasionally during testing we forget to get out of the way. It shuts itself off pretty quickly and easily. I would say my tunnel is probably more dangerous than this cart.
Yeah,
because you have your tunnel.
Yeah.
Now I didn't see in the 2019 video, you didn't have the tunnel in it.
The tunnel is separate.
Right.
Okay.
I built a second garage just for the tunnel, as one does.
Right.
In fact, I have a video about the making of that tunnel, and it shows hurricane damage one year, and I'm just like, I'm done dealing with storms, and it shows, I think, kind of a time lapse of, or at least a montage of it, the garage being built. And if you want to hear Jay's awesome kick-ass soundtrack, definitely watch this video because it plays throughout the video.
So let's just touch on the other elements of your show that you put on. Obviously, it's a dark ride. There's so many moving parts in there. are they all automated? Like everything in there automated? I know there's some actors in there too. Is this a fully automated show? And if so, what does it take to get that going?
I'll start at the driveway and move through to the tunnel and touch on things. We do some kind of yard decorations, graveyard, whatever. This last year we had a 12-foot skeleton, of course. Which he's in the haunt now, and he's the first thing you encounter. He's leaning over a wall, parting the curtain for you to come through. And it looks like he's the wall he's leaning over is going to be a crash wall that you go through eventually. But so static yard props. I did have the. Are you familiar with Mr. Chicken's Raven DIY Raven?
Yes.
Oh yes.
I had one of those in the graveyard, and just past that is my Arch of Pumpkins and Phil and Edith, my animatronics. They have about a half-hour show. That's Phil, the ride host himself. After this year, we built a witch to accompany him so they can sing duets.
I want to chime in right there if I can, Eric.
Yes.
After we built Phil, when I was trying to design the character of him, I wanted to have an eccentric flair about him with a kind of a like the ghost host at the Haunted Mansion. And so that's my basis for this character. And the next year when it came around, I said, he's got to have, a counterpart. I said, we need to have like this witch where they can play off each other and create a banter of character between, there we are. Create a banter of character between the two and stick them underneath that arch. And I have to point out that Eric was saying nobody's going to really pay attention to it because we were putting so much energy into the programming and writing the lyrics and getting the audio done. And it came to the point where people were standing and gathering around watching all of the antics we had for them. And it was an absolute success because the energy, they're like an old married couple and they would play off each other. It was wonderful.
That was me.
Yep. And the reason I said nobody was going to pay attention because years prior I had built a show off of a 4-track audio recorder, tape recorder, and people just walked right by it to get their candy, and I was really depressed. Like, I give up. I'm not doing this. No one's paying attention.
But I pointed out then, I said he needs a counterpart. He needs a wife. He needs something. People relate to that like immediately.
Yep. Yes, I would agree.
So
go ahead.
Okay, I was going to move on with the flow of when you visit. So the reason we put them outside is people are now waiting in line, which they never, because I have enough people to wait in line. So it's, kind of to reduce the perceived wait time to have entertainment in line. So now I've also added photo boards for like the photo op. And I own a roller coaster car from Hershey Park, again, as one does. And that's a photo opportunity also. So then you come in to the haunt and you board the ride. It gets sent off. Some scenes are fully actor driven. Like last year, we had an autopsy going on. The person on the table would wake up and reach out for help as the cart goes by. But then the next hallway, floating candles all running on themselves. Atmosphere effects. Haunted portrait was motion based. It was on a loop until they get to a certain spot. Then it goes to the scare scene. It came around. We had somebody sitting there who would just a bicycle horn, scared, and they're no, of course, right? So then they turn. There's another clown this time with a car horn and headlights, which always got them. And then from that point on, everything was automated. Some stuff from Spirit Halloween, some stuff I modified from Spirit Halloween, like. There's the electrician that's hanging upside down when he triggers, but I had him pulled up away from the path in a kind of a toxic scene. You come into it, it bubbles. Fog is coming out of using my low-lying fog machine that doesn't use ice. Patent pending. No patent. So have you seen that? fog chiller without ice?
No, but I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, I'll get back to it. But
Right.
so you come into the scene, toxic barrels. You don't see the guy yet. It triggers, red klaxons go off, and he swings towards the cart, but is stopped by a tether as he triggers. And then as you go out, you're hit with a toxic blast of fog from a fog geyser as the final scare just before the doors. And something Jay and I figured out is give them the biggest scare just before the exit, so the faces coming out are either laughing or like really freaked out, and it builds up really good energy for the next group. And I have to thank Jay for introducing me to Terror Ride at Lagoon Amusement Park. It was the perfect cheesy feel that I was going for. The old time, corny props, colored lighting. God, I fell in love with that ride.
For those who don't know where that is, it's the amusement park I grew up in Salt Lake City, and about 15 minutes north of downtown. Lagoon is there, and Terror Ride has been there since the 60s. And, it's just a wonderful old dark ride.
After they disembark from the ride, we guide them over to the spacewalk. And at this point, we called the spacewalk because apparently Vortex is a name that's taken.
Not anymore.
Really? Oh, yes. Roller coaster humor is awesome. But the neighborhood started calling it Spacewalk on their own, so I stole it from word of mouth. And we couldn't figure out where do we give out candy on this thing. So it's the pause between the ride and then the tunnel. And the tunnel, we always have at least 2 people monitoring it. There's kill switches at either end. And then one final scare scene, which is again automated. When you leave, it's something is automated right at the end as a final goodbye, I guess. Farewell.
Farewell.
Yeah.
And just as an inside baseball thing, I am desperately trying to get videos to pop up here, and
okay.
My computer is not having. Normally, we have a lot more videos playing during this, so yeah. So I'm gonna let you guys talk for a few minutes, and I'm gonna.
Well, here I'll bring up YouTube, and
I will come back, and you guys can keep talking.
So I have a question. I have a question for you. The one that when the doors open up, are they called breakaway doors? When you go in, are those automated? Or what do you call them?
Bang doors.
Oh, they're my favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the best part.
Yes,
that's the best part.
I know.
It's just the corners of the cart catch the door and push it open as it goes through.
That's it. So
I was going to ask if you had that. I didn't know from the video if you did or not. It's the best.
Yeah.
And entry and exit door.
Yeah, and they're on springs. When the back of the cart goes through, the door just closes.
It's just like a kitchen, the old kitchen doors. It would swing open and then close. That's it.
Yep, that's it.
That's awesome.
If he plays the video again, or if you watch it, the one where it starts outside, you'll see the glow. The jack-o'-lantern on the front of that cart has a lantern inside of it, and as it gets near the door, you see the door start glowing orange from the lantern. It's the jack-o'-lantern that pushes that door open. Hoping to have a couple more bang doors this year because they're also one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
Because the anticipation, what's on the other side?
You can scare from that door. I mean,
exactly.
One of the worst things, or one of the best things when I owned a haunted house was the damn curtain hallways. I absolutely love them. It's the most simplest thing, and it's kind of like the bang doors. You don't know. You're not in control of going through that door or that curtain. And if you go in there, there's something that's going to scare you. You have no idea. And the anticipation, like you said, it just kills people. It's awesome. I love it.
Well, I use curtain doors, although we pulled them apart for the 360 camera so it wouldn't knock the camera over.
Okay.
But a couple spots, there are curtain doors. And what we did is we kind of mimicked the forklift doors in warehouse. We used small strips of fabric overlapping. so it didn't matter how you came through it, it would part. So
we took all of that stuff out of our haunt last year because of COVID, and I'm so thrilled to bring it back this year. All of that hangy stuff, because we just ripped it all out. All the plastic.
Yeah, the fear flaps.
Yeah, those. Thank you. Fear flaps.
Okay.
But
yeah, last year we didn't do anything other than decorations to look at. I did have a pretty. Oh, this part of the video that's showing how hard it is to film this under the dark conditions. So in order to get this video you see there, I made 1-inch marks around a 10-foot circle. I think it turned 380 some marks. I moved it. I took a 8-second exposure, moved it, another 8-second exposure. So 380 times, and then stitched them together.
Oh, wow.
What?
He doesn't only make dark rides. He also makes videos out of pictures.
Wow.
380 pictures to be exact.
Yeah.
Wow.
We did have the tunnel open.
That was the scariest part right there.
Yeah, right.
My cheer-tastic outfit. After we limited the groups to go through only with the people you came with, and then the attendants would then go through and Lysol all the handrails in between groups.
Like every 5 minutes, we would take rags and go back and forth and Lysol them down.
Yeah. So there's a couple things from my childhood that I'm finally wealthy enough to have a happy childhood.
Right.
I used to watch The Wonderful World of Disney, and they showed the behind the scenes of audio animatronics. I'm like, one day I'm gonna have one. So I built them, and each year I'm going to be upgrading. In fact, the witch there, whom we call Edith, is from an old Gimme microphone prop. She's been cut up and retooled. But I'm worked with Bob Robertson of Halloween Skulls, sent him lots and lots of pictures, and he managed to produce a head that copies Edith very much. Some of the upgrades that he did, it's also a 3-axis skull, but it's got 2-axis eyes. And the mouth is changed based on emails back and forth. What I wanted to have the chin more concealed by kind of the jowls here, I guess. And on his own, they added teeth. I didn't ask for the teeth. And I'm like, they're perfect.
I love the one in the middle.
I know.
The one at the bottom. It's perfect.
It's perfect. Yes.
That's pretty awesome.
Oh my gosh.
One thing, I don't know if any of my videos show, but Edith is painted up really trashy. Like I took the phrase, it cost a lot to look this cheap, and applied it to her. So I still need to do makeup on her, but I'm doing some modifications because of the extra sculpting. It's really front heavy, so I'm adding a torsion spring in the back to help balance us out before it goes on the body.
Have any of you guys worked in a professional setting with haunted attractions or anything like that? This is just something that's spawned from the love of Halloween.
That, and I have to be tinkering at something ever since I was a child.
So he already had this going when I joined in. I lived about 4 hours west from here, and I moved out here about 9 years ago. And I just came out here one weekend, and he told me about it, and I thought, well, this will be fun. So I came out, joined it, and loved it.
Yeah, and has been. You unplugged.
That was me.
Pop a cord.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, he's been he doesn't have headphones right now. Give him a second.
There we go.
He's been a scare actor every year since then. The irony is he doesn't go through haunted houses himself.
Not really, no.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, there we have Liz from Haunt Collective. She is petrified. She's an actress, a professional actress, and she does do haunted house stuff as an actor. But she will not go through a haunted house. That's not her thing. It's not her jam. She
so weird.
She just walks away. She walks the
face.
Isn't it odd?
No, I don't think it is. I have a lot of actors in my haunt that are terrified of other haunts, but they're terrified of my haunt even being in there, and I think for them it gives them the power when they're the actor because they're the ones actually scaring instead of the ones being scared. Can you relate to that?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
that. Yeah, I thought.
Yeah, it's like a couple of years ago we went up to a little amusement park up in Connecticut, and they had this haunt that was like a 45-minute walkthrough. And he convinced me to do it, and I was like so tense going through it the whole time. By the time I got out of it, I felt like I'd just run a 10-mile marathon.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, I totally stole their laser floor.
You did.
That's right. That's right. I remember that.
Nothing wrong with that.
I mean, it inspired a scene in my my haunt. That's it.
Imitation is the best form of flattery, right? You just said it.
Thank you. Exactly.
Yeah.
I do want to go. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to ask Jay a question. You did all the sound and everything like that. Do you have a background in sound, or is this just something that you tinker with? Like, give me a little background on that because I love the soundtrack when I was listening to it. So, give me.
I've always liked music. I don't have a degree in music, but I have learned music theory on my own over the last years, and maybe I can do this. I got this whole stereo or keyboards, and that's my music station computer, and guitars back there.
See it.
But
you have a theremin. He's got a theremin too.
Yeah, there's a theremin with the monkey on it behind my head there. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't used it. Weirdly enough, sorry, I have not used the theremin for anything that we've done with the haunt. I haven't.
Shame on you.
But I know, right? We need to do something this year, so we're going to get on that. But no, I just whenever I have an objective to me, and I didn't really have anything. And so, for instance, with the music that's in the tunnel, there was about three criteria that Eric had mentioned that he wanted. After I had gone through and just sat in there and just resonated with the energy of how this thing works, he says, I want something that's got an upbeat kind of a techno kind of feel to it, and I want it to sound scary, and I want it to include remnants of 3 original songs, that being the theme from Nightmare on Elm Street, The Exorcist, and what was the other one? Halloween.
Tubular Bells.
Oh, Halloween.
Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Tubular Bells, Exorcist.
Yeah. And so I thought, all right. So then I just started mixing around with a bunch of the VST synthesizers on the system and tried to create some creepy cathedral kind of sounds and tried to just find something I felt that resonated with the tunnel. And I guess you could say more, to answer the question more directly, a natural talent. I don't really have any real formal background to a training.
Well, you nailed it. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. I'm quite proud, more specifically, of 2 songs on there. One we call Cool Whip, which is the second to last piece of music, right before it goes into the Exorcist theme. And the way I redid the Exorcist theme, that's one of my most favorite things I've ever done.
Wow.
I don't know.
Have you done other stuff? Have you done any other audio stuff for other things, or is it just for fun?
I have a ton of stuff that I just most of my music is very score-like.
Sure.
And most of my music probably based more on like 80s classic rock and synth sound because I'm a child of the 80s. So It's just a moral imperative to make music like that. And I don't care if it's cool or not.
It's always cool. It's always cool.
Right. Right. So I'm old, and I do have a lot of other material that I've used. Like one of the things we did more recently was there's a video of his model roller coaster, and I think that's back in March.
Oh yeah.
Eric was like, "Hey, can you create some music that sounds like 1960s campy style Munsters kind of music?" And I'm like, "I'll rise to the challenge." So, and that's available video that you can see on YouTube right now. And that's something that I just kind of threw together in about 2 days.
So Jay, if there's other hunters that are watching and they want stuff done for their events, are you for hire?
I've never thought about that before. Sure.
Okay.
I love that.
There it is, right there.
Really cool.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's really
for
cool.
sure.
Thank you.
Because I think when we're off camera, I think that Hunt Collective needs to talk to you. So
What? What's wrong with our music at the beginning? What's wrong with that?
Yeah, thanks for putting me down, Dan. You know, I spent all of 0 minutes making that audio that I stole from a 1930s.
I was going to
YouTube
say we get every time it goes live. So
yes, but I put in all the little voices and
yes,
sounds. Okay.
You did a really good job. Jay, you're way better.
Audio is not my strong point. Video is my strong point, not the audio. So.
No, I think you did a fantastic job. So I just wanted to give you kudos for that.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
You do need to talk.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah, I want to know. You're gonna have to tell me what goes on. That would be awesome.
And I want you guys to move to like Wisconsin so I can like hang out and go through this dark ride because
okay,
you motherfuckers are way too far away from me. Way too far away.
Well, the tunnel stays up every year or year round.
Oh, so it's up year round. So like if I showed up in like August,
well, the tunnel is year round.
That's the tunnel.
Yeah.
Some of the Halloween stuff is still up. But.
Yes.
When do you start building the dark ride? Like when does production like the actual happen?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it goes all the way through October. I'm assuming 28th.
Picture the skeleton.
27th.
Oh, you got it. Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's okay. And then you're building and you're setting up all the way from 2 weeks ago till the 27th, the 25th of October.
I'd say around 3 o'clock, October 31st. I never finish. I just run out of time.
Hey, we all are.
I've had wet paint. I've had wet paint on opening night. Wet paint.
Oh my god!
Nice. On the first year of the dark ride, it was just me and Eric at the house the night before, and all of a sudden, after building and testing for the past 2 or 3 days prior to that, the cart failed, and there was something going on electronically, and we had to chase it down. And I have to hand it to Eric for keeping his cool because I knew inside he was freaking the hell out. But we managed to get it solved.
Yeah, I would have thrown it.
A little heavy, but sure.
I would have done my best.
Oh my God.
This little Dago attitude here, I just couldn't do it. Nope.
That's your initiation. Though.
You'd be throwing your phone and flipping tables and.
Yeah, I had my initiation when the first year I did it, so that was yours.
Yes.
Oh yeah, having to deal with me on Halloween day.
You just learn to stay over here.
I've got the best
Find
friend.
something to do.
I really do. Were you going to show something?
Yeah. Had a little sneak peek of what he's already started working
Ooh,
on.
I love sneak peeks.
Yeah.
Here, make that screen big.
I'm on it.
Oh no,
There
he's
it is.
making the screen big.
There we go.
That is
yeah.
the 12-foot skeleton.
See, there's Eric right here.
Yeah,
So
I'm in the back.
Are you going under that?
Yeah, the cart is going to go under that.
Oh, cool.
And
Badass.
that horizontal beam right here is there's going to be a pattern that looks like a brick wall, like he's leaning over the wall. And the cart is going to run into the brick wall and push it aside to continue beyond it.
God. Oh, there you go. 12-foot skeleton. That's a winner in my book. For next
Right?
Well, I wanted to use it in a way that no one else has.
Yeah, that's definitely nobody else has a dark ride. So.
Pretty sure not.
Right?
That was just from spitting out ideas.
Yeah.
Right.
We were just sitting there trying to think of what to do, and I looked at him. I'm like, I wish the skeleton would fit in here. He's like, yeah, the garage is only 11 feet, and it's a 12-foot skeleton. And our other friend Justin said, well, what if we suspend it from the ceiling? And Eric goes, ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
I don't have the best ideas, but I know a good idea when I hear it.
Right. Now, before we get because I know we're like I told you guys in the pre-show, we're probably going to go over because this is such an exciting thing. But you had mentioned your iceless fog chiller.
Yes.
So we need to know about this.
I really debated whether or not I was going to share this online or if I was going to like maybe make kits and sell it. That's me with a leaf blower blowing it out.
Eric, before you start, what is your background? Like, what do you do for a day job? Do you do this cool ass shit building stuff, or are you
living Dan Doble's dream life, or what?
Are you like a Walmart greeter during the day, or do you actually do this cool shit like all the time?
If he really is,
well, are you familiar with Langley NASA? Well, I don't work there. No, I'm an installer for the IT division of the city of Portsmouth.
Okay.
So
you do get a little bit of love that way.
No, I'm not allowed to touch computers. I'm not kidding. I pull wire. That's what I do. I'm a wire installation technician.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. I had to find out what your day job was because you're so talented at this. I can't imagine why you wouldn't be like making cool ass shit all the time.
I wish I could.
Anyway,
I wish I could.
So go back to this. Talk to us about
gosh, how to condense
how does it work?
This works by atomizing water first and then running the fog through the mist. It's using like a pond fogger. It's a tin head ultrasonic unit.
How did you figure that out?
What
the fuck? How did you figure that out?
Well, I built a couple different fog chillers. Some that use dryer tube that go through a bucket of ice. Some that is just a basket of ice with a hole at either end. And what I found, it chills better when the fog touches the ice. And I've asked lots of questions, and it turns out once fog is atomized, it becomes I'm going to get this word wrong. Something like hydrogolic, which is the opposite of hydrophobic. It becomes thirsty. It wants to absorb moisture, apparently. Well, that cools it off, one, and it makes it heavy. So you see how in the video, how wispy and light the fog comes out. But once I run it through the unit, look how much thicker and denser it is. Because it also adds
drops
volume.
right to the ground.
Yeah. And then you can see it just rolling and creeping. So that is actually the prototype that I ended up using. I thought I was going to have to make some changes. So
this was a one and done?
No. This is the second video. There's another video.
Oh, okay.
It's still this unit. This is after I posted the first video, some people had questions, almost kind of challenged me. It was like, oh, the fog machine's not doing anything. What if you just put a fan on it? So I showed the difference. Also discovered it can self-siphon if this tank is above the floor, and then you run a tube all the way down. There's the fan. First, it's blowing through the fog and the mist that's in there, but as you can see, it's starting to wisp out without the fog machine.
So you have an ultrasonic, like pond mister basically in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The video prior to this
is warm water, or do you have ice water?
Tap water. No, it's tap water, and in fact, that ultrasonic mister makes the water very warm to touch, and yet it's still, for whatever reason, still hugs the ground. I don't understand it. So
unbelievable.
I've used bucket-based fog chillers for years, and at the end of 2 or 3 hours, it's just a bucket of water now, no more ice. So I've lost by the end of the night, I've lost the effect, and this held on for 3 hours with our toxic scene. So.
Okay, so if anybody's watching, you have to contact Eric because he'll sell you the kit. That's just mind blowing. Mind blowing. You guys are so damn smart. I wish I were this smart. I really do. Is this shit?
Oh, it's him. It ain't me.
Y'all should be making, doing this shit professionally, because I just can't get over the fact that you can take a granny cart and turn it into a freaking dark ride, and then we get this bonus of this fog chiller.
I know.
I'm fanning it with a tombstone.
Yes.
Don't we all? Duh. No palm leaves for us. It's tombstones.
Well, I have several projects I work on throughout the years. I'm currently there was a teaser I saw him show of a fog screen I'm working on, but I'm not completely happy with it. So I'm working on a way to condition the air to flatten it out. So we've filmed some tests which went comically bad, but I'm going to wait until I have a working, presentable, finished product and then do a video showing the steps it took me to get there.
If you ever, I know that Alan Hobbs has a successful fog screen that he built. So if you have questions, I'm sure he'd be able to help you with that. I went through it. He's got it at Dark Hour. I don't know if you saw it, Troy, when you went through.
He didn't have his fog machines going and stuff like that.
Oh
But
my God, that fog screen is
mentioned
awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome. When you walk in there and it's on, it's the best damn scare in the fucking world, because you can run right through that damn thing. Oh, it's so badass. Anyway, sorry.
I'm curious how close I got to it. If Troy can go to that video, it's the one where I draw a circle in the air.
Oh yes,
at the beginning. Yes. I'm curious how close I got to the one you're referring to.
This is the one that even Atmos FX even shared. And now we're loading. And now we're loading again. I don't know what. I only have one thing running.
I'm blaming somebody.
Again, this is a work in progress. This isn't the final presentation of this, but I got so excited. I got this working, and that I was able to edit a little video together for it. I was like, I have to. I got to post this one.
There you go.
See it. So the way you have it dropping down from a tube on the top?
Yes. Because eventually I want the Dark Ride to be able to come through it just like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's using the fog chiller to help the fog come down and then not hang in the air.
With the atomizer. Okay.
Yeah. I don't care what happens with the fog afterwards. I'm not looking for a ground effect. I just don't want it lingering in the air.
Sure.
Right.
Sure. It looks similar. I feel like the one, and maybe it's just because I saw it for a couple seconds versus actually experiencing it. I feel like the one that Alan built was longer and dropped farther down. You know what I mean? So I'm not. Like I said, I can't without looking at it. It's hard for me to say, but
yeah, I'd love to look at it. Anything I could do to improve it would be excellent.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's quite a shop there.
Well, yeah, it's
that's
also
where the magic happens.
It is,
right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, all of that comes out, and then a Dark Ride goes in.
Actually,
so you use that curtain. So you use the atomizer for your curtain. So
that's correct.
Ah.
Yeah, because I wanted a thick screen you could not see through to the other side. So when you saw me tracing the circle, I'm going to ruin the magic. That was a video of me against a black background doing that, and then I comped the circle on it, and I'm just standing behind it. You can't see me in that lighting until I came through it.
Got it. Yeah. So cool.
The magic.
So freaking cool.
I know.
It's not gone.
So, and as Troy may have seen, my other passion is roller coasters and model roller coasters. So, of course, I'm theming mine out to a graveyard. I call it Grave Robber. I used it as a display last year for COVID since we couldn't have people come through. Just open up the roll-up doors and had different scenes. Jay helped me create I would say Disney level effect with using atmosphere hallution material.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
But
I was going to mention that.
We couldn't really film it very well, but we pulled in a lot of things. The floating candles to give the depth in front and behind the scrim, masked out any possible edge of the scrim, so it just kind of looked like it was hazy in the garage, and you couldn't see where the projection was coming from. We used angled walls to capture all of the light spillage, so you didn't see any secondary projection anywhere. Oh, what is that? That's
kind of the video I was able to take of it.
Oh, he's showing the the roller
Holy
coaster.
shit.
Yeah, when he's not building an awesome dark ride in his garage, he's building this.
Right.
and it works. It's gravity powered.
So, oh my God. So what do you oh my God. No shit, it's actually running.
Yeah.
God. Wow.
Yeah, and now it's fully automated. About a dozen sensors along the track to make sure the trains don't collide, and it manages the brakes and lift hill.
As one does.
As one does. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, duh.
But this was testing. I was building a second train, and it's just a flat chassis right now. That's why my hand is grabbing it. But you'll see the other train behaving properly, slowing down on the brakes.
Wow.
And then, parking at the station. So, yeah.
Okay. Super side note. How long did it take you to build this?
Right?
I'm not responsible for this entire model. A guy named Phil Kaiser built the bones of that over the course of a few months. I've taken a lot of it apart, automated it, added a switch and storage track, built a second train, and did all the electronics.
Do you take this somewhere and show it off? Because Jesus, if it sits in your garage or in your house and nobody sees it,
I've been talking to a children's museum that has a massive, massive train layout to see if they'd be interested in having it on display for a month or so.
Man, it's so amazing. Anyway, oh my God.
I know. And,
okay. All right,
and in our second hour of the haunt hour,
should I do a wardrobe change?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
All right, I think we just need to sign him up for another sign you guys up for another show, because I there's so much to unpack here, and that's just this.
Yeah.
Let's just oh my God, it's nuts.
I know you guys are just hands down amazing. It's just
every week I think that it's just going to be another hunter, and then I get excited, and then this shit happens, and it's like, what the fuck? What am I?
I have great lineups for us, so I have been picking. Some great people. So
yeah, this shit's amazing.
Thank you, extremely, very super much. This has been a blast. It's thank you.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up, but I want to tell you, Eric, I have friends. My best friend actually lives in Helenville, North Carolina. I don't know how relations. It's another small. It's like 30 minutes west of Charlotte. So I'm gonna be. I usually go down there once or twice a year. It's not in October, but if you don't mind, I'm going to reach out to you if I'm down there, because I have to see this. Even if I get to see the freaking roller coaster thing, I'm going to be happy a boy.
Right. Yes, please. Seriously. Yes, please.
And then Jay, we will talk, because I do need to talk to you about music and sound and stuff like that, because you're super talented, and we need to make sure that you are noticed, because it shouldn't go unnoticed what you can do. So
thank you.
With that being said, anybody else that's out there that's watching, I know there's a bunch of stuff that's come up in the feed here. How can people find you on social media, Eric?
That's pretty much the extent of my social media. I don't have Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I have a Facebook page. I'm in the Haunters Hangout group. I think that's how Troy and I connected.
Yep.
And And
I've known you for a while. We don't, talk every day, but I've known you for a while.
I have to thank Diablo for reaching out to me because of my YouTube page, because I wasn't on any forums or groups or anything. Most of this I kind of did on my own.
Right.
So that I guess that's why some of it's kind of unconventional, because I wasn't really like, ooh, that's neat, I want to copy it. It's more like, hey, I want to try this. How can I make it work?
Super unique and one of a kind.
Right. Yeah.
Although I do want to say, I searched a lot for homemade dark rides when starting to build this. And what I found most frustrating is all these beginning videos and no final result of a dark ride. Lots of like, here's the cart, here's the theme I'm going to make. I'm going to paint it like this, and then nothing.
It's probably because they didn't end up making it. Because I only know between you, there's another guy, him and his wife, in California, and Hollywood Haunters has been to their house, and he has one. He uses a mobility scooter, but he uses a track, and he uses like a conduit type material with little risers, and so it actually tracks along it the whole time. So, which, like you said, only limits him to where that track can go. Where you wanted to be able, with the tape idea, you're able to do several different ways. So there is, as far as dark rides that have actually been built, it's you and him, and I swear, and I couldn't find it, but I swear there was a kid, probably 17 to 19, somewhere around in there. I can't find him.
I saw that. Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen maybe 5 completed dark rides.
Okay.
I can't find them all again, but
it's hard to find. I don't know if YouTube just buries it or what, or it's just, because it all depends on what you name it and stuff like that.
Yes.
But
I didn't want to be another one of those, hey, here's an idea I'm working on, and then no.
Well, you definitely have you definitely have accomplished that, and I like the fact that you're showing. I know you said you didn't want to necessarily show the fog chiller idea, and I get that. But also just so you know, there's a lot of people out there who would rather just pay for it, than try to build it themselves. I mean, there's plenty of pro hunters over there.
Way up in the air
somewhere. And there's home hunters that just don't have time. Like I probably have time to make a flying crank ghost, but I don't want to, and I really don't want to mess it up. So I'm just gonna go buy one, because it's just so in that aspect, you're gonna find plenty of people who would rather buy it than try to build it, because they're gonna mess it up and they're gonna get frustrated. And as long as it's not $1,000
or throw it,
right, yeah. So, I wouldn't necessarily say give up on that idea. I think that, if you were able to, figure out a way to make it shippable, I don't see people, saying I would never buy that. So, especially with the fog curtain idea.
That is definitely something to think about. I know it's piqued Jay's interest. And I may regret saying this, but I've tinkered with the idea of having a bolt-on steering head, like just recreating my steering mechanism that can bolt onto your own built cart.
Yep.
And creating that as a kit that you supply your drive motor and drive batteries. This takes a 12-volt battery, and that's it.
Yeah. I know.
It takes it from the love of what you do to an actual job, and it can get real monotonous real quick. So it's just
because then you're just building stuff for other people.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Even the second cart, which we had the first one, most of the bugs worked out. Should have been able to fly through that, and it still took a couple months, start to finish. So yeah. I'd like to say one final thing. I thought we'd get to him. My best friend Scott passed away this year. Scott was the yin to my yang as far as haunt ideas. The ghost in the mirror effect was his idea, and he pushed me to do it. He came up with so many of the story ideas with me, and he passed away kind of suddenly. Cardiac event, and it's been really hard to have motivation this year. We're about this close to not doing anything for Halloween this year because it just feels empty without him. But he would also be really pissed off if I don't do anything this year. I know he would. So it's oh yeah, the ghost in the mirror effect. That took us 2 years to get working right. And I regret not mentioning his name in this video once. I found out after his death that he felt bad about not getting recognition in it. So anybody who's watching this was Scott's idea. I just made it happen.
Nice. Yeah, I was watching this in the background while I was trying to make it load and stuff like that earlier, but because you have a mirror on a sliding rail, and you've got the hall, you have the projector screen back there and everything. So if you want to see how they did this effect, it's sort of a Pepper's Ghost, but straight on, instead of it being with the angles and everything,
right, because we have people coming through this.
Right, so you can't have that big room that a Pepper's requires.
Yeah, and it's not just projected flat on the mirror. It's volumetric. It looks like it's in the room with you. You could position yourself so you would expect something here in the room be reflected in the mirror. Okay. So it's got depth. It's about 2 feet behind the surface of the mirror. Really, really cool effect. And I have to thank Scott for pushing me to get that working.
Yeah. So if you want to watch this, basically go to their Facebook page or their there's all these videos. This is just, hours of videos. So you can go to Into Coasters and you can find all this stuff. We will put it in the description of the video as well. There's a lot to look at.
Yes. Our show and a half couldn't cover it all.
No, I do it.
Check it out.
Yeah.
So thank you guys. Thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. We're definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys do this October. So don't make that any pressure because we're excited. So do you guys have any final last words, anything like that? Susie, you and Sally have anything to say? Troy, anything?
No.
I did want to say Sally sounds like a typical Saturday night with the whole. It's technical, so
it is. There's a lot of nuts and bolts to it.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming on. Thanks everybody for watching. Next week, what are we doing next week, Troy?
Next week we have Jonathan Perry from the Psychotic Circus of Savannah.
Yes.
And if
haunt vloggers.
Yes, they are haunt vloggers, and they do an amazing home haunt. It's all circus themed. If you want to check it out, that was going to be our other bit of news. That Spirit has opened up in their flagship store in New Jersey. I know everybody has their Spirit stuff, but they did an amazing walkthrough video of that flagship store. So go to Psychotic Circus of Savannah. And
otherwise,
you will
check him out next week when we
talk.
talk.
Yep, and he'll be on the show next week, and we'll talk all about it.
All right, guys, take care. We'll see you all next week. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Oh, Jay left.
I don't think I'm going to be on there next week. I don't think I'm